So the Quran itself was revealed in a specific context, and that context was 7th century Arabia. And there was a certain social structures that existed in 7th century Arabia. And they look different from the social structures that we might imagine today when we say the same words. If I say to you, household, you might think of, say, a husband, a wife, their children. If I said to somebody in 7th century Arabia, household, they are thinking of the husband, the wife, the aunties who are not married, who are living there, the children, the children of the deceased relatives who are also living there, some hangers-on who might be living there, the servants who are living there, or slaves who are living there. They are not thinking of a closed unit. The household in 7th century Arabia was a major social unit, and it's actually the social hub. It was where all life happened, was in the household. And in fact, the Prophet's own household chambers were attached to the mosque. So it was like the community was in a sense almost his household. It was attached in that way. And if you think that, for instance, you can look at a question from today's lens and apply that to a text that was written in the 7th century. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but it's, in a sense, you might lead to miscalculations because you haven't taken into account the social context. And that social context is what structured what was considered to be fair, what was considered to be right and wrong. If there are slaves in the society, then the book is going to legislate about slaves and, treating them well, right? But if you live in an egalitarian society where slavery is considered wrong, you look at that and you think, what? The institution itself is wrong, so how could God be speaking about an institution that's wrong? Well, if you think about it from solely a modern lens, you might not understand the morality that was operative then. Now, the same thing is actually true of Qur'anic interpretation. We had these amazing scholars, such learned people who are from all corners of the world, actually, who have been interpreting the Quran over many generations, hundreds of years. And those people are rooted in their context when they interpret it. So when they read a verse of the Quran, they're reading it through their own lens. And it's grounded in a historical time and place. And so when contemporary readers read it, they're also reading with their own lens. And it's crucial to recognize that not only is there a plurality of interpretations, but that all of those interpretations are somehow rooted in particular historical context, because then we can understand how the interpreters might have thought of their own interpretations as being ethical and right and good, even if we would look at them and say, hang on, why did you say that? One of the important things about studying the layers of interpretation over time, one key thing is that actually those medieval interpretations, they have had a strong influence on modern practices and on even law in Muslim majority countries. So you have interpretations on child custody, you have interpretations on personal status, and those on the nature of divorce, those interpretations from the medieval period, which vested a lot of authority in men, have come to influence actually the lived realities of many, many families in the Muslim majority world, of many people.